Hello, everybody. Robert Allen here. This is our Goldmiind call for the 11th of July, 2016. And boy, the last couple of weeks on our Goldmiind calls have been a little spotty because we had July the 4th last week and we did not have a call. And the week before that, I think I was flying up to Canada for my 50th high school reunion. And so it was pretty kind of spotty, and that's been my fault. So forgive me for being a little less available than I really want to be. I'm going to be sharing with you a PowerPoint presentation today, which you can send to your team members. They can watch it later on. It's the way we do our Goldmiind calls thus far, is that we do a call and then I record it. So now this will be uploaded here in the next 24 hours and you can watch it with your team. Today's the 11th and I'm Robert Allen, the Chief Mindset Officer of RX, this incredible, fantastic, amazing, wonderful company with these fantastic products. You can't tell I'm biased or not. I've written a lot of best-selling books. One of my books, Multiple Streams of Income, talks about my favorite stream of income, which is network marketing. And my story in there talks about how, my secretary told me about network marketing and I poo-pooed her and I told her it was a silly idea and it was a little business for little people to make a little bit of money. And she said, well, I need to make a little bit of extra money. And I told her, don't do network marketing. It's just really silly. It's stupid. And I don't know where I got that opinion. I have no idea why I said that. It just was, I think it's just in the air. I think there is just a general lie going around that people pick up on, because network marketing is the best experience in my life. I meet the sharpest, smartest people. Mary and Steve are on the call with us right now, driving to a meeting. Neat people, sharp, smart, cool, wonderful. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have more friends like that? And what a business that we have to do that. So we came, I saw Mary at the convention, the regional convention. It was at Orange County just a few weeks ago, and I saw her friend Bonnie there, and what a great group of people. We had a wonderful time. We learned lots. Then right after that convention, I went up to Canada for my 50th year anniversary. I'm showing a picture here of me sitting on the float as me and about 25 of my 50-year high school grads are sitting on the float as we go around this tiny little town in southern Alberta where I was born. There were thousands of people in the parade line of a town that maybe has 4,000 people in it, because it's kind of a popular little place and people come on the 1st of July, which is Canada's Independence Day. And so I went to the 20th year reunion. Now I've been to the 50th year reunion. I think we're probably done. And I'm going to tell you that I took the product Jovet and I put it on my forehead and on my wrinkles on the side of my face, because I wanted to look really good for my 50th year reunion. And when as you look, if you're watching, you can see the photo of some of the gray hairs that are in this group with me. And I look much younger than most of them. And I think it's because of, the nutritional products I've been taking for many years. I think it's given me extra zip. It's of course, a lot of genetics going on in my hair, because I don't have very little gray hair at all, where most of my compatriots either have dyed their hair or they're full white. It's crazy. Now, in this short message on Goldmiind, we talk about what I call the 3 knowledge sets. 3 kinds of knowledge you need to acquire if you want to be successful in anything. And we've decided we want to be successful in RX. So what does that mean, and how do we do that? Well, the 3 kinds of knowledge sets, I call them, hold on a second. I call them the be how, we how, and V how. Now that's Bob Allen's way of saying it. What is we how? What is V how is the specific vehicle knowledge. The word V stands for vehicle. And what I mean by vehicle means you're going to get in a vehicle and drive to success in something. You can drive it in real estate. That could be the vehicle you use to be financially successful. You can drive the stock market vehicle. You can drive the business vehicle. You can drive the network marketing vehicle. Whatever vehicle you choose, you have to learn how to drive that vehicle. So when it comes to real estate investing, you got to learn how to find good real estate deals, how to fund those deals, how to farm the properties, how to make, how to flip them or farm them. There's specific skills and techniques and strategies of doing the real estate game. Well, the same thing comes true when it comes to RX. We have certain rules, certain things we're trying to learn. How do we play the RX game? Or how do we drive this vehicle called RX in this special way of doing network marketing? How do you do it? And therefore there are specific things you got to learn in order to be able to be successful at this. In addition to that V-how knowledge, vehicle knowledge, you have what I call the we-how knowledge. That's what are your people skills, essentially? You have to have people skills to be successful in any business, anything you want to do in life. You've got to interact with people, and you have to have certain skills that you learn there. And it's a totally different set of knowledge skills. It's similar in network marketing because we're a people business, but there are different things that you do in order to be good with people. And if you want to be good in network marketing, you got to be good with people, and you have to have people skills. So those are a different set of skills. And finally, there's what I call be how, which means how do you be? How do you become the person you need to be in order for you to drive the vehicle? In other words, in order to be successful with people, you got to persuade them. But in order to be successful in anything, you got to persuade yourself. You have to encourage yourself. You have to be courageous. You have to do things that are hard to do. You have to be persistent. You have to be organized. You have to be focused. You have to be committed. All of these skills are internal skills. They are the most important skills, I think. In other words, these three types of skills, V-how, we-how, and be-how, are not equal. If you were to be asked, which is most important, almost every audience I ever asked this question to, and I may have shared it with you before also, those of you who are listening, either on the replay line or live, I want to continue to teach this because I want you to understand how important these kinds of these knowledge sets are. But which is the most important? Is it system skills? That's V-how. Is it people skills? Or is it mindset skills? And which do you think you would want to spend the most amount of time becoming expert in? And most everybody always responds with the simple answer, although V-how is important and we-how is critical, that B-how is by far and above more important than the other two skills. Because if you have personal skills, if you have mindset skills, if you know what you want and you're not afraid to go get it, then nothing can stop you. It doesn't matter if you know nothing. It doesn't matter even if you're bad with your people skills. If you know what you want and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it, then you are unstoppable. And that's the kind of skill you want to build. And unfortunately, when people start in network marketing, they want to go to the totally different set of skills. They want to learn how to understand the products, and they want to be knowledgeable about how many micrograms of this or that are in every product we take. Why does Jovet work so well? What is it that makes the skin, tighten up like that, so that we can answer questions? And we usually focus in on the V-how skills because we're nervous that somebody's going to call us on it, and therefore we think that if we just learn enough knowledge about the products and about the compensation plan, about how network marketing works, that's the kind of knowledge that we really need. We spend an enormous amount of time focusing in on that kind of knowledge, when what really we need to focus in on is how are we confident no matter how little we know? How can we move forward and launch a business when we don't really feel comfortable launching a business, when we feel maybe overwhelmed in our lives and we're worried about what people might accuse us of if we're doing network marketing. And if we're strong in our personal mindset, if our self-esteem is strong, nothing can stop us. We don't care what people say. If they say nasty things, then they will. Why should we expect that they wouldn't? Everybody is marketed to by different kinds of people. So we just got to we have to have a thicker skin, let's put it that way. And we don't. We have very thin skin. And therefore we try to thicken our skin by running off and learning how our products are so fantastic so that we can become knowledgeable in the products or the compensation plan or in the V-how knowledge. And what happens is that the more we learn about those things, the more unconfident we get. Why is that? Well, because the more you learn about something, the more you realize that you got more to learn, and you'll never learn enough. It's almost as if the more you learn, the less confident you get. You go, gee, there's so much more. I could learn so many things about all the products, and we have so many products to learn, and it's going to take hours to do that. And I don't have time to do that. And you throw up your hands instead of saying, hey, people need this product. This changes people's lives. I frankly am not all that knowledgeable and why they work. All I know is they work for me. So here, friend, family member, associate, here, take it. And they'll say, well, what's in it? And you go, well, read the label for yourself. Just take it. And then if you just would guarantee that if they took it, that you'd refund their money, and at least the company will in the first 30 days, what do you got to lose? In other words, let their body tell them that the product is working. You don't have to convince them that the product might work. You just say, here, take it. It's guaranteed. You can't lose. It either works or I'll get your money back. Period. Simple. Fast. Well, most people don't like to do what I just described because they go, what happens if the product doesn't work and the company doesn't refund the money and then I'm stuck with it? Well, you're in business. You're going to get stuck. That's what business people do. They give guarantees and they offer free products and they build businesses by being much more aggressive than most of us are willing to do. So anyway, what I'm basically saying is that the be-how is where I focus. Now, Tim Sales is going to teach you, and I think he's on a call this Wednesday night. He's going to teach the V-how stuff. And it's important. I'm not saying that it's not important. You still have to know basic things about it, about the inviting formula and things like that. But the question I want you to work on is how do you build yourself? These three kinds of knowledge, when it comes to V-how, there's things you got to learn about the products, and there's things you got to learn about the compensation plan, and you have to learn how to enroll somebody. If you could just have one skill come out of there, if you could just learn how to enroll people and how to invite them to come, that's a skill that is a skill that very few people have the courage to learn how to do. And yet, if you learn that skill, that's good. We also, the we-how stuff, that's the people skill stuff. You've got to learn how to listen. You have to learn how to build rapport and how to persuade. These are three fundamental pieces of the people skills that are important to learn. And yet it seems like when we start a brand new business, there's so much to learn and so much to dump on us that people really, they quit, they fail, they stop because it's like too much. And then we have the be-how skills. The reason I think these are more important than the other two, the first two I mentioned, is because when you tap into a person's dreams, when they get clear on what they really, 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 really want, which most people have never achieved the kind of clarity they need in order to succeed. When you teach a person how to get that kind of clarity, how to anticipate the problems that they're going to face, and they're going to have to be courageous and to face these problems. When you make it real to them instead of passing over this stuff, and you go deep into this stuff with them, then they get a reservoir of persistence that will cause them to persist through the learning stages of how they learn about the products in the compensation plan. They persist through the rejections when people, when you try to persuade somebody and they say no. If your clarity and your dreams are real, and you realize in order for me to achieve my dreams, it's going to require a lot of rejection. It's going to require a lot of persistence. It's going to require real determination, real commitment. But if I do it, I get to live a lifestyle that maybe only 5% of the people on the planet ever dream. They can even dream to live this kind of lifestyle. A lifestyle of free time, relationships and love, a healthy lifestyle, less wrinkles on the face, and more money, and the kind of money that everybody's looking for. So these three types of knowledge are all confused in that person's head. They say, well, how do I learn about the products? And then I gotta go persuade somebody about it. And then I gotta, if I were you, I would focus in on the clarity first. And let's get really clear on what you want. And let's find out what it's gonna take to get to that. And the left and right brain are two kinds of the ways our brain works. I'm showing a visual here from a Mercedes-Benz ad that shows the left-hand side of a brain. And it's all kind of gray, and there's lined up there. And I'm reading the quote. It says, "I am the left brain. I am a scientist, a mathematician. I love the familiar. I categorize. I am accurate, linear, analytical, strategic. I am practical, always in control, a master of words and language, realistic. I calculate equations and play with numbers. I am order. I am logic. I know exactly who I am." When we speak to a person's left brain, this is what they expect. And the problem with most people is when we throw out numbers and figures and data, the left brain picks up on it. And then it expects to have a lot of that. And that's why when you speak to a person's left brain, it's very hard to persuade them, because they want all of those analytical details until they make a decision. And you and I know that emotion, which is a right brain function. I don't know if that's technically correct, scientifically, but in a metaphor of left brain and right brain, the right brain is and I'll read the text from this Mercedes-Benz ad, which once I saw it, I loved it. I said, I got to get that. "I am the right brain. I am creativity, a free spirit. I am passion, yearning, sensuality. I am the sound of roaring laughter. I am taste." I'm having a hard time reading this. It says it comes from, "I am the feeling of sand beneath bare feet. I am movement, vivid colors. I am the urge to paint on an empty canvas. I am butterflies as imagination, art, poetry. I feel, I sense, I am everything I wanted to be." Now I know this is writing from a perspective of selling cars, but you don't buy a car because of its horsepower. You buy a car because when you sit in the seats, you smell the leather, you feel something. And when you try to connect by telling the details about how much horsepower it has, or how many inches there are between the seats, or all the little details, the span of the wheels, and all the little details, the left brain wants that stuff. And when you feed it that stuff, you have to give it some of that, let's put it that way. But what really tips them over the scale is that right brain. It's that essential, sensuous part, the feeling part. And you have to sell the feeling. If you don't sell the feeling, then the left brain, what you do is you sell the feeling and then you add a few pieces of left brain data, and that seals the deal. But if you go full left brain, you're never going to convince anybody, because almost all movement comes from that right brain tapping into the feelings of where a person really wants to go. So when we tap into the what I call the be how, which is the internal part of ourselves, you start to really you start to make progress. So you watch, if you want to watch somebody who's good at it, watch the online stores, on the television. What are we talking about? You know, those stores where they sell all kinds of products. I can, let's see, there's QVC. You want to watch somebody who knows how to reach into the right brain and persuade, and how they use both sides of the brain. Watch QVC and notice how they do it. They're going to use visual senses. They're going to say, and imagine what this is going to feel like when it touches your face. And when you look in the mirror and you see the wrinkles beginning to disappear on your face, imagine what it'll feel like when you walk into a room and you realize that you're looking younger than you've ever looked before. And believe me, the reason, and you can watch the little ticker as the numbers of products get sold. And you watch somebody who doesn't sell very well on QVC, and they give them a shot. They give them a shot, and they usually get one shot, and they can't make it. If they start going into all kinds of, they stay away from stories, they go into lots of detail, they go into left brain kinds of stuff. And as much as people try to teach them on QVC how to present so that people actually buy, it's very, very difficult to do what I just described to you. And what you need to learn how to do is to speak in that kind of language. Now, we have a lot of products, and I'm showing you a picture of MOA and Omega Q and Optimum V and Bio Pro Q. I was watching QVC the other day, and the guy was trying to sell some fish oil. And he was going into all kinds of details. He was doing good at selling it, but he was also touching into the emotional side. But he was rattling off the most incredible detail about his product and why it was better than anything else that's ever been created. Except, of course, we know the RX is much better. But the bottom line was, I'm never going to be able to rattle off those kinds of details. And I haven't spent 20 years trying to figure out how the product is so much better. Very few of us in RX are going to be able to know. You do need to know a few very critical left brain details about why each of our RX products is better. But you don't have to know so much. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a pro. You don't have to study for 20 years to do this. You just have to touch a few of those details. And when it comes to strengthening the body's immune system, that's why we take these products, because of why we take them, because these are incredible for our body. And sometimes we just need to let our body feel it. But we know that in order to strengthen our body's immune system, we need to take daily supplementation. What it does throughout our body, you don't need to know that. Would it be nice to know that? And maybe you're passionate about knowing that? Fine, know that. But be careful about how much you share with your prospect, because your prospect may not need to know that much information. In fact, the more information you give, the more confusing it might get. Teach a few things that are really essential, and then make sure they remember those things in a visual way, or in a way that's, that's sensuous. Using the senses is what we're trying to say, so that they can remember to tell those few things to anybody they talk to. But if you overload them with too much information, they'll raise their hands and go, there's no way I could ever sell this to somebody else. It's got to be simple. Then when it comes to our body's immune system, showing some visuals here of a body and all the viruses and toxins and fungus and carcinogens and the pollution and the bacteria, and all the things that our body has to fight every single day. Of course, we need products to help us overcome the overwhelming flood of pollution that we're drinking and breathing every single day, that's attacking all of our cells. But in addition to that, if it's daily protection we need, then what about your mindset? How do you strengthen the immune system of your mind? You need to, we all need to, I'm not pointing you out, I'm just saying all of us need to strengthen the immune system of our minds, and it needs to be on a daily basis. Daily belief supplementation. What are you doing about that? Because as you move throughout your day, you're going to be bombarded, just like your cells are being bombarded with toxins. Your mind is being bombarded with negative thoughts and negative toxins that need to supplement your daily, what is your daily regimen or ritual to prepare yourself to supplement your attitude every day? What books do you read? What thoughts do you have? How do you prepare yourself so that you are protected in this very, difficult world we live in? I mean, you cannot turn the television on without being assaulted, or the stories of assault, of people being assaulted and murdered and killed. It's every day. It's every day. How do you protect yourself from that? Well, you need to protect yourself in the very same way that we protect our bodies. And there are books you should read. There are books, whatever books that really reach you and that strengthen you. I've talked about, the Think and Grow Rich book, and you can, members of ARCS get to download the Think and Grow Rich audio book that's up on the website. It's up on our RX website in the back office, and many people listen to that. And as they're driving around in their cars, and I recorded Think and Grow Rich, a few years ago, and I have donated it to the RX family because I'm happy to let people, have something. At least if it's only the basic Think and Grow Rich, but there are some other fantastic books that you can read. There's the Go for No book that's fantastic. There is the book by, that wasn't my subject for today's conversation. What I'm asking you simply is, what are you doing? It's got to be daily. If you're supplementing your body daily, you have to supplement your mind. And when you bring a new person into RX, same problem. How do you get a person in RX to a brand new person? How do you teach them that they've got to work on their mindset? Business is tough, and they got to be protected from those free radicals, inside and outside. Yes, there are free radicals outside, people that are talking to us. That's why I call it free radicals. It's a person who tries to talk you out of your dream. They're radically attacking your dream and telling you that you're an idiot for wanting to launch your own business. How dare they? Well, this happens to all of us. And if they don't do it visually or verbally, sometimes it's just the body language, that you pick up. And this is a free radical on the outside. And the free radicals on the inside are how we are protected from the antioxidants that we take. But inside as well, there are these critical voices that talk to us, that try to talk us out of our dream. You have that little voice inside your head that goes, who are you? What's the matter with you? Why are you doing this? Why don't you just go get a job and give up? Everyone has a critical voice. Some of it have it at louder volumes than others. Critical voice is a part of the human being. It kind of comes with the human machinery. And it's amazing how all of us have a critical voice. And yet some of us are able to overcome even that internal free radical called the critical voice and proceed forward anyway, regardless of that nagging doubter inside us. That doubter is a liar. It doesn't want you to win. It's a destroyer, a liar, a thief. It's trying to steal your dream, and it's in your own head. Is it you? In my opinion, no, it's not you. And therefore, be very, very careful about what you say to yourself, because it has a direct effect on your personal power. It weakens you if you believe that voice that's in your head and don't believe the true voice. It's usually in a heart. It's usually a heart thing. You go, oh yeah, when I hear my true voice, it's really a heart thing. I kind of feel it. I just sense that I have a champion on my side that's trying to encourage me. The critical voice does not encourage, destroys, discourages. And the more you're aware of it, the more you can literally ask it to and thank it for its opinion, and then promptly lower the voice and don't listen to it. It's never going to take you to your dream. I'll say that again. Your critical voice will never take you where you want to go. Never. And the more you invest any belief in it, the slower your progress will be. And these are things that are going on inside our minds every single day, every single minute. Some of it's unconscious. We don't notice it. Some of it's louder. Some of it's, but you ever find yourself hesitating? You go, why am I hesitating? Why am I procrastinating? You can usually link it to a voice that's saying, slow down. It's not good. Now there's a true voice that'll say, slow down and don't do it. And there's a critical voice that'll try to talk you out of it. Just make sure you listen to the right voice. So the critical voices in the minds of other people, these are the external free radicals. What they're doing is they're listening to their internal critical voices and speaking those words through their mouths to you, and you hear them and thinking that your friend is thinking that about you, where your friend is really probably, I don't have any scientific basis on this, is my own opinion, but most people, when they criticize you, are just repeating the critical voices inside their own head. And they don't even know they're doing it. And you don't know they're doing it either. But I want you to really think about when somebody criticizes you, say to yourself, wait a second. Where did they get that thought? And you'll find that that thought is often inserted into their mind, that they speak out of their mouth towards you. It's almost like if a person was a drunk and they was calling you an idiot, would that really bother you? You would say, oh, that person's drunk. Why am I even worried about what they say? Well, in a sense, critical people are really drunk with critical thoughts. They don't even know how to control their own minds. And also be very careful about what people say to you. If they speak negative stuff to you, don't let it create fear in you. It should create courage in you. It should be something that is that takes you to that strengthens you. When somebody says something negative, you say, "Are you trying to talk me out of my dream?" You don't have to say this physically. You don't have to let them hear what you're thinking, just like you can't hear what they're thinking. But just nod and smile and go, I have clarity on what I want. You obviously don't want me to achieve my dream. Therefore, you're not going to be on my team. I don't want you on my team, because we're going to have to be pulling hard to get to the top of this mountain. And I don't want somebody that I have to carry up this mountain with me on my back. I want somebody that's helping, pushing, supporting, positively moving, taking steps towards it, not dragging and pulling and trying to discourage me. The 5 major fears are the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, the fear of success. They spell out the word fears. And these fears are expensive. And if anything or anyone around you heightens any of those fears, it's time to either protect yourself by wrapping yourself in a protective layer of plexiglass so those thoughts bounce off of you, or find new relationships, or treat those relationships in a different way. Sometimes when they're family members, you can't get rid of family members' relationships. And obviously, you have to learn how to deal with that, which is one of the purposes of life. But the point is, be very careful, shall I say. These thoughts that fly at you from external places, just let them bounce off of you so that you can slowly, through your daily mindset work, slowly transform all of the doubt you have into belief. And you go from a question mark in your life to an exclamation point. And it takes time for that to happen. And don't let anybody talk you out of or heighten your doubts. If you need to, then rely upon our exclamation point. We love this company. We love network marketing. When it's done right, it's the most enlightened business on the planet. These products save lives, period. End of story, whether you know why or how they do it or not. Just trust us. Trust Deanna, if you will, on the products itself. And on the opportunity, trust my experience. It's a fantastic opportunity. Is it easy? No, it is not. It takes time. And it takes time for you to finally get that exclamation point that you need, and to break out of the walls that surround you, these walls of fear that all of us have. I've got fears. Everyone has fears. It's just different fears, bigger fears. Some things that I myself am petrified of, it's a piece of cake to you. And some of the things that it's a piece of cake to me are things that just tie you up in knots. But every one of us has that we deal with. The question I'm asking you today, as we finish our call, is what are you doing on a daily basis to get clarity on what you really want? And one of the maps that we've been talking about in the previous weeks is the clarity map. Tell me what you want. Tell me when you want it. Tell me who you want it with. Tell me why you want it. Tell me all the things. You don't have to tell me how. How is later. We get into how, as we learn. The most important thing you need to learn, though, is this is what I want, and this is why I want it. And this is why I want it so much that I'm willing to risk whatever it takes to get it. When you come out with that kind of determination, the how starts to appear around you. See, when you're determined, there are so many hows. There are dozens of hows that'll take you where you want to go. There's one or two that are really, really good. And like Tim Sales will show you how to invite people. That's a how. There are other ways of doing it, but once your commitment is clear, the world starts recognizing that you cannot be stopped. They respect you in a different way because of your clarity. So I won't spend much more time on that subject tonight, other than tell you that I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation. The call will be recorded and uploaded in the next 24 hours to the goldmiind.com website, where you can watch this again if you want to, or where it'll eventually be put into the archive at the very bottom of the page. Bottom line is, this was our Goldmiind call today. I hope it was valuable to you. I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint now, and coming out, let's see, Mary, I don't know if you're still there, but if you are, any thoughts or any questions you might have as a result of our conversation today. So I will now record this call and post it up there for you. Wish you all well. Good luck. God bless. All right. Awesome. It's the best. Learn those skills. See you next week. Bye-bye.